they want to ban 3 other Russian media outlets, right? So in this Politico article, they say 3 broadcasters will be sanctioned in an effort to curtail Kremlin propaganda, of course, right? So basically, they are controlling the narrative now. Although I don't need to, I don't need to spell that out for you. You already know the game. You already understand what's going on. And I want to say something else. You see here how they say 3 broadcasters will be sanctioned in an effort to curtail Kremlin propaganda. Who gets to decide what is Kremlin propaganda? Because right now, if you bring up NATO expansion, like, which is a fact, I can literally show you a map of NATO expanding after the Soviet Union ceased to exist. That is a fact. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. NATO doubled its membership after 1990, which makes no sense because NATO was created to fight the Soviet Union. There is no more Soviet Union. Why are you expanding? Why are you encircling Russia? Just bringing that up, people say that's Putin propaganda. So what does that mean? Kremlin propaganda, anything you don't like? Uncomfortable truths? Who gets to decide what that means? And you already remember they banned RT in the EU. And you could argue, well, look, YouTube and Twitter and all these companies, they have a legal obligation. They do. They have a legal obligation to comply with that. But the thing is, that's already bad enough. But the thing is, YouTube goes ahead and then bans RT Arabic and RT Espanol willingly, of their own accord. They're doing it for free, like with no mandate. Like, let's just go ahead and get rid of them all. Let's go. Wow, that says a lot. That really says a lot. And I want to show you the hypocrisy, how ridiculous this is. Because just 2 days ago, this same woman, van der Leyen, look what she was saying. She was saying on World Press Freedom Day, Europe stands by those who speak truth to power. No journalist shall be silenced or intimidated. Protecting media freedom and pluralism is protecting democracy. This is why we are fighting against abusive lawsuits and preparing a Media Freedom Act. Wow, you're funny. You're a funny woman. You're a funny person, right? You're a funny politician. So she's talking about media freedom and journalists should feel safe. And then 2 days later, she's saying, I'm banning all of these outlets. Now, let me be very clear, because you say right here that no journalist shall be silenced or intimidated. I can assure you, there are lots of journalists who feel intimidated right now. There are lots of journalists who are losing their jobs. Like RT America shut down completely. And what's insane to me is that, you know, as many attacks as they want to lob against RT and so on, the funny thing is the people working there have more editorial freedom than if they were working at CNN or the BBC. And that's a fact. They would never be able to say those things on the BBC. You think I would be able to cover the Assange case at the BBC? You're funny. They won't even criticize their own government, right? All they're good at is lobbying attacks at the same old official enemies. So the funny thing is they want to criticize these outlets as state media, you know, RT, America, RT. Those journalists there have more editorial freedom than you would ever have at the so-called free and objective and neutral establishments. So just want to put that out there. But I find it really hypocritical that the State Department and the head of the EU Commission, they're all coming out on World Press Freedom Day to say these lovely word salads, and then they do stuff like this, where they go and they ban broadcasters that they don't like. And of course, you know where this is leading, right? Because right now they say, oh no, you have nothing to worry about, right? You're not a Putin propagandist, are you? This is just a state broadcaster. Yeah, that's how it starts. And then it's like, oh, that guy's a spy. Oh, this guy's, he sounds a bit off. Maybe we should check him out, right? Maybe, you know, we should look into his videos and what kind of tweets he's sending and all this kind of stuff. Maybe he's a spy, right? Maybe he's a propagandist. Maybe he's secretly doing this and that. This is how it begins. And then it's open season. And of course, I don't need to tell you what happens when the government suddenly has these sweeping, expansive powers where they can just call anyone they don't like a spy or a Russian asset. This is McCarthyism. I don't know if you guys learned about this in school or in college, but in the 1950s, you had a U.S. politician, McCarthy was his name, and he would launch these witch hunts, right? There were people he didn't like for whatever reason, and he would accuse them of being communist sympathizers or working with the Russians or the Soviets. And you could ruin people's lives with these accusations, really, because this is the height of the Cold War, and they would use this against Hollywood actresses and Hollywood actors, people who weren't even in politics. Say, oh, you got some weird affiliations. Are you a sympathizer? And they would have these hearings, like a witch hunt, truly. These hearings, and they would go after people in the politics, outside politics, and it was crazy stuff, right? And that's what you're seeing again right now. It's a reincarnation of this Red Scare. It's Red Scare 3.0. There were already two. So really just a bunch of hypocrites. They talk about press freedom and then do this stuff.